And we are live. What's going on, YouTube Live? It's your boy, Billy Rowe. Today is Wednesday, so you know what that means. It's time for your Wednesday word. That's Wednesday word. Jumping straight into it, tonight's topic is the power of effective teams. What do I mean by the topic of the power of effective teams? Well, what I mean by that is sometimes well, not sometimes, a lot of us have been told at young ages that it's all about the team. There's no I in team. It's about teamwork and being on teams. But the part that I feel has been left out in that conversation is it's about the effective team. It's about not only building an effective team, but operating well within that effective team. So when I talk about the power of an effective team, what I'm talking about is not just that, there's no I in team, or there's an ME, there's me in team, but talking about that team that actually you put together or you become a part of, that allows you to accomplish much more than you would accomplish individually by yourself. So as far as the topic itself, I did put together tonight 4 points that I felt like resonated with me on how to build an effective team, and to speak towards that power. However, in putting together the topics or the bullet points for tonight's talk, I found that there's so many more, but I mean, we would be here for over an hour just talking about effective teams. So I tried to pick out the ones that resonated the best with me. Hopefully, if you guys have some that you want to share or that you think I may have missed on this video, if you're watching the replay, please do me a favor and put those in the comments. What's going on, Brother Bruce? Thank you for joining me. So first and foremost, the very first bullet point that I came to when it came to picking or building up and utilizing the power of an effective team was your communication. Communication when it comes to teamwork must be clear. And I don't mean just simply communication. What's up, Key? I don't mean communication in the sense of just you talking or just you speaking. Communication is something that actually starts off with listening. So I have this really good friend of mine named David in Sacramento. He's actually all over the place. I don't know where he's at right now, but he's a really good friend of mine. And we've had a lot of conversations. And many of those conversations have talked about like how to be more effective communicators. And some of those have been in the educational realm. Some of those have been in the finance realm. Other parts of those have been just on the one-on-one communication we've had. And one of the things we started to think about was, well, there's two different types. We're going to keep it very simple. There's two different types of communication. The first type of communication is silo communication, meaning I have the information in my silo and I'm going to give that information to you. So basically, you're going to take what I'm giving. It's not a two-way pipe stream. I'm sending it to you, you get it, and you store it in your silo. And then eventually you send it out the other side of your silo to somebody else who doesn't have it. In the conversations that David and I have had, that was not an effective form of communication for everybody. It works in some cases, where you may have to hand out an objective and say, do it, get it done. But that's more of a boss mentality versus a leader mentality. And so we started thinking about a second type of communication that takes place, which is a communication that is built on mutual understanding. So what happens in communication oftentimes is that I say something and you think it's one thing and I think it's another thing. And so we both operate on it based on what our understanding of it is. But the two of us don't have an understanding of what each other's viewpoint is. So we started talking about mutual understanding, meaning now communication is not me giving my information from my silo and dumping it in yours. It is we're on two opposite sides of a piece of land, and we are trying to build a mountain. So you build a little bit, and while you're building, I listen, and then I communicate back, this is what I heard, to get back even with you, and then say, okay, so this is what I heard. Now I'm back even. Here's what I want to add. And you listen, and then you build up and confirm that you heard, and this building takes place until you reach the peak of this communication mountain. So the first thing that is so important is communication. If you do not have effective communication, there is no way for you to build an effective team. So that's point number one. The second thing that I have here for points is that you have to look for high quality people. Now, I guess the best way to say that is you have to be a high quality individual. And I don't mean that by the skill set that you possess. Like, you may not be the best. I don't have the best penmanship. We'll use that. I don't have the best penmanship, but I do know how to write in print and in cursive. It's just sometimes you may not be able to read it, unfortunately. So, but you have to be the high quality individual as well. It would be like you leaving outside of your house and going to the grocery store, to the produce section, and you're like, okay, well, I want something to eat. You don't go to the produce section and look for the fruit that's rotten, that's spoiled, that shoot. Sometimes it's just you don't even want to get a piece of fruit that has a blemish on it. Nothing's wrong with the fruit. It just fell from the tree and hit the ground a little harder than everybody else. But you don't go seeking the fruit that doesn't look like it's going to be good by the time you get home. You go seeking the best of the crop that's available, that's presented to you. So in the same aspect, when you're building an effective team, you want to seek high quality individuals. And quality, again, is not just measured on skill set. People who have high integrity, are more apt to come to you and say, hey, I didn't understand what you were saying or what you were asking me, which is going to go back to that communication mountain. Can you please explain that again? Or maybe can I tell you what I thought you said and you kind of clear up the missing parts for me? High integrity equals a high quality individual. You want people who are going to be genuine and not deceptive and not malicious and not, I forget the other word that I wanted to use, but not that other word either. But you want people who are high quality, have high standards, because those people are going to contribute to the bottom line of the team, the overall objective of the team. And it doesn't really matter whether you're the person building the team or you're the person joining the team. If you are joining a team, you want to make sure you're joining a team with high quality individuals, people who are not going to backbite you, backstab you, and try to sabotage your success to make themselves look good. People who are not going to sacrifice the team in order to make themselves look good. So that's the second thing, is you want to be on the lookout and select high quality individuals, and you want to be a high quality individual. The third point that I thought was very important, thanks, Keith. The third point I thought that was very important on building effective teams was I got to stop saying you have to. It is important to be able to impart vision. So when I was a kid, we used to go to church, and one of the things that stood out in the Bible for me was, without vision, the people perish. And it wasn't like just simply without vision, the person perishes. It was the people perish. So my people perish due to lack of knowledge, and without vision, my people perish. So it's important to be able to take a vision, take something that you see internally, and be able to impart that into other people. Now, when you're in a team environment, you might impart the whole vision in the direction of the team if you are the leader of the team, or you might contribute an aspect of the vision of what needs to take place. So I'll give you a good example. I was at work today and I was in a meeting. In this meeting, there are people who are much more qualified in the code language SQL that we were using to query some databases to get some data. They were better than me at SQL, but that didn't mean that I couldn't impart vision on and gain understanding or even contribute to the team that I was on. I was in that team for a reason. And so I have to have confidence, I have to have courage, and I have to have trust in my ability in the areas that I'm efficient at. And so I wanted to be effective in that meeting by learning what they were doing, but also contributing to what the team's overall goal was. So you have to be able to impart that vision, because other than that, you have a team that operates in chaos, going in multiple different directions that may actually be stepping on each other, not intentionally, to get to what they perceive the end goal is. So imparting vision to have an effective team is very, very important. The fourth tool that I want to share with you guys, and again, there's more than 4 tools when it comes to building an effective team and the power of an effective team. But the fourth tool is sharing leadership. So my godfather, Eric Regard, he gave me a book when I was younger. It was called Developing the Leader Within You. It's by John C. Maxwell. And in that book, it spoke about the flight patterns of geese that are migrating. And so it talks about this V formation that geese fly in. And I mean, anytime you see geese or you hear geese honking, if you look up, they are typically flying in this formation. I've never seen them in any other formation. But what this V formation does is it allows them to be more aerodynamic as a unit as they migrate over far distances. So the challenge is that when you're flying over far distance, you have to deal with wind resistance. You might get fatigued, you get tired, and similar to race car drifting, where you drive behind somebody and you get like a little bit of brake on your gas and wear and tear because they're braking the wind. That's what this V formation does. That head geese literally flies in the front of the flock and everybody V's off behind them to create aerodynamics against the wind. And what'll happen is while that geese is flying in the front, all the other geese behind them are honking in affirmation. Honk, 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 you can do it. Honk, 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 keep going. Honk, 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 great job. That's what the geese are doing that are behind this geese. But there's times after flying, when you're flying such a great distance, that lead geese or lead goose gets tired and falls back into the formation. And the next goose steps up and starts breaking that wind. And so this goose, who was once the leader, falls back and starts honking in affirmation. Honk, 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 you got it. Honk, 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 thanks for taking that power from me because I was tired. Honk, 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 let's get us all there. It's more important that we all get there versus me flying in the front the whole time. What I thought was very interesting about that is not only do they utilize that in the sense of flying in formation with the flock of geese, they actually, if a geese gets wounded, 3 geese go down. So if one goose is wounded, I keep saying geese, if one goose is wounded, 2 additional geese go down with that goose because they want to be able, when that goose gets better and or if that goose dies, they want to be able to get back into that V formation. V formation. So if they get back in that V formation, the 3 of them can take turns being in the front, being in that leadership role. So the other thing is if even if the goose dies, the other 2 still take turns being in that wind-breaking role of leadership. So it's important that you're able to share leadership and realize that there's things that people on your team may be better at marketing, maybe better at public speaking, maybe better at note-taking, maybe better at, finances, whatever it may be that they may be better at. Be willing to share that leadership role and step back and let them break that wind resistance in an area that they excel in. So that's really the 4 points that I wanted to share with you guys tonight. Again, just really briefly, the points are communication. It must be very clear. Select high quality people and be a high quality person. And then impart vision and share the leadership role. Now, with all Wednesday words, I like to share a personal story. Key, I wish you were here for this personal story, but you were not. But the story I want to share with you about the power of an effective team, it goes back to my oldest son's birthday. We actually went paintballing for his birthday. I told him, hey, go ahead and get 6 of your friends. I'm going to get 6 of my friends, and we're going to have an adults versus teenagers paintball battle. And so we got into this paintball battle, and unfortunately, 3 of my friends, Kia was one of them, couldn't show up. And because they couldn't show up, it left 3 adults versus 6 teenagers because all the teenagers had to do was get picked up by the adults. So we end up with 6 on 3. I had offered for one of the teenagers to come to our team. She said she didn't want to come. She wanted to stay on their team. So, okay, no problem. We're outnumbered. No problem. But here's the thing. The first game we play, the 3 of us, because we were an effective team, communicated very well. We're very clear on which sectors we were going to cover. We're very clear in communicating during the match. We're clear on what was taking place in areas we couldn't see with each other. We were always clear on our communication. So our experience as adults, though there was only 3 of us versus 6 people, our experience overtook the 6 people, the 2-to-1 odds that we were fighting against. So the first game we go through and we blow through these people like our kids, like, boom. Yeah, sorry, you guys lost that one. So we go to round 2. Round 2, we get the same result. And by the beginning of round 3, I could see that they were starting to get that thing that happens with all teams when things start going wrong or objectives are not being met. They start playing the blame game. And in order to be effective, you can't play the blame game. Fortunately for them, somebody, I don't remember who it was like, hey, man, we don't need to argue with each other. Let's just work together. And they brought it back together. So on the third round, they actually beat us. They beat us on the third round. Yeah, on the third round. And then we got to the fourth round, and that was a different game. It was capture the flag with the flag in the middle. And so with the flag being in the middle, now it's about strategy. What does your mindset say? What is your critical thinking ability? What is your problem solving? And all of us on our three people on our team, we're like, okay, here's how we can do this. Here's how we'll space ourselves out so we're not one big clump of a target. And here's how we'll cover each other. And so we made that work, and then we get the flag and we return it and we win. And then the next game, they understood finally that they're like, wait a minute, we got 6 people. We only need one person to get the flag. The other people can just shoot at people as they run up. And then they won the second game. But we still won, Key, just so you know, for the record, we won by 3-2. But at the end of the day, it's about being that effective team. So when we were outnumbered, we leaned heavily on each other in communication. We leaned heavily on each other and trusting that the person to my right was taking care of the right, not me continually going over to the right to check on what was happening on the right. And so when it comes to being an effective team, when it comes to utilizing that power and utilizing that experience, it's no different than an organization that says we have 100 years of experience in this, even though we've only been around for 10 years. It's because the people that are in that team brought 25 years of experience apiece. So 25 times 4 is 100. So now you have 100 years of experience. Utilize all the experience. Don't be so caught up with being the leader. Don't be so caught up with, like, I could have easily like, well, this is my son's birthday and I kind of made this happen. So I'm the leader. You guys got to do what I say. No, I'm like, we're out here to win. We can't let these teenagers get the best of us because they think we're these old fogies. So let's show them what we got. How are we going to do that? I'm open to however we want to do it. I can shoot left. I can shoot right. And when you're focused on the success of the team, that is when your team is most effective for the things that you really want to accomplish. If you're the leader, focus on the team's success. And that's weird because it's individual success, but also collaborative success that you have to focus on. But when you focus on those things, that team is willing to work that much harder, put in that much effort, and give it that much more than what they have, for the success of that team. So as always, I'm glad you guys tuned in with me today for the Wednesday Word. I know you guys got to get out there, either trick or treat with your kids or do whatever you got to do. But I'm appreciative that you guys have tuned in, Brother Key, Brother Bruce. I appreciate you guys tuning in live. If you're watching this on the replay, please do me a favor. Make sure you click the like button. Make sure you click the subscription button so you're notified the next time that the first row is on live, whether it's the Wednesday Word or an intersation. Speaking of intersation, next week we will have 2 intersations. One will be on Tuesday. One will be on Saturday morning. Those times I'll put those up later on, but the one on Tuesday is always at 7 p.m. And that will be on I almost said the power of effective teams. It's not the power of effective teams. That'll be on what to do with your passion. So as always, if you like this video, share it. If you share this video, like it. Happy to engage with you in the chat. Happy to engage with you in the comments below. Until then, one love, peace, and welcome to the first row.